Hey there, dive buddies, and welcome to the show. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to Maxime Cheminard, a talented dive photographer who I first met at the inaugural International Underwater Photography Competition in Aqaba, Jordan, where he received an honourable mention at the award ceremony for his awesome image of the Cedar Pride. Max's journey into the world of diving began during his time in the French military, and after transitioning to civilian life, he pursued his passion as a dive instructor in Thailand. It was during this time that he found himself under the tutelage of Mikko Paasi, dive shop owner and Thai cave rescue hero. Together with Mikko and other diving legends, Max has explored Thailand's long-forgotten flooded mines, and through the fantastic Bottomline initiative, they've mapped kilometres of submerged tunnels, created options for mine diving training, and revitalized tourism, boosting the local economy. Join me as I catch up with Max and dive deeper into his career, past, present, and future. Please enjoy.
Welcome to the Scuba Goat Podcast with Matt Waters. Let's dive right in.
We switched to Tower, but it was a year ago at least.
Well, that was that was February. My birthday, February.
Oh, February.
Yeah. And you've been a busy boy.
So almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting year between exploration, expedition, all of the things that goes around it, crashing a car.
What?
And etc. Have you not seen that?
No. You crashed a car?
Mikko and I fell off a bridge in the expedition car. Yeah.
When?
You haven't seen?
No,
1st of September. Okay, that's a funny story.
Hell.
So we were exploring a brand new mine in north of Thailand, almost at Myanmar border.
Yeah.
And it was raining, it was the start of monsoon. So we knew it wasn't the greatest weather. And we went into, it was very off-road. Yeah. And we couldn't go back to the road we basically took in. So we had to find a second road. Luckily, there was a second road. If not, we would have been stuck there. And on the way, 200 meters from the main road, we had a bit of a tricky turn to do. It was very good, it was going down, and it was a tricky turn. And we fell off a bridge and ended up 3 meters down. So I had 35 stitches on the head. It was a great day. Yeah.
Did someone just come along and find you, or was Mikko okay to go get someone, or what?
No. I had to call rescue. So I called friend at rescue here in Koh Tao, and then they relayed to Suratani, then relayed to where we were, and then they come and pick us up.
Bloody hell!
I had to do it hospital for a few days. But yeah, that was interesting experiences,
to say the least. What about Mikko? Did Mikko get any injuries as well?
No, I'm the only one. Mikko's injury was more easy go in the car. Because it was all car,
Well, he bounces better than you, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, we fixed it. The car is fixed. I don't know how. I'll send you a picture later. The car is fixed. Okay. It's unbelievable that he fixed that. But yeah, no. So we had this. This year we had the 8X with Mine Camp, which was our first year of Mine Camp. We had, a lot of things happening actually. In a very busy year.
Well, but before we go into what's going on right now, let's wind it all the way back to before the time you had fluff on your face. How did you? Obviously, you come from France, but how did you get into diving in the first place?
Well, that's a very funny story. So my first dive, I was a kid. I wouldn't call it a dive, but my first experience with scuba diving was I was 7 years old. I remember seeing the James Bond movie at the time. It was Tomorrow Never Dies, and it was a beautiful scenery with a diver. And my family and I were in holidays in the south of France, so a beautiful place. And they were doing scuba experience in pool, and I was so annoying with my parents that they were okay, here's for you, here is your scuba experience for you. like go for it, and I just fell in love with it. I started continuing to be a little bit of diving here and there, and then my real experience with diving was when I was in the military, in the French military. I had a lot more experience with diving there, playing more with explosives and dangerous materials. So that was a very different kind of diving. Then I left the military. I went back to the civilian life. Not so much diving at the time. Decided to go back to during our holidays to diving with my partner at the time, and discovered that my military experience wasn't valued or anything at that time as a diver. So I started back. We're talking more than 10 years ago. So I started back and I redid my open water, which I learned some new concept like buoyancy that were not absolutely taught in the military. So it was actually a very, very interesting time. And and then I continued from there. Basically, it's very like I decided later on to continue like doing a dive master, then an instructor, taught diving for a few years, and then then it get downhill from there.
Yeah. So where did you do your dive master training?
Kotao, actually. I did it at a French shop called Aquatao. I'm not sure if they're still active at the time.
What was it called? Sorry?
I did my dive Aquatao. Very boutique French shop, very small shop. I think they still exist.
Yeah.
I think they still exist. They are. It was great training. I liked it. I did learn quite a few things there. And then did my instructor like a few months later. Same shop as well.
Obviously on Tao. Did you stay on Tao to do
On
your
Kotao.
teaching then?
Yes and no. So at the beginning, I did a year of teaching in Kotao. Like not in the same shop, not at all. I was in a small shop called Ocean Republic that doesn't exist anymore. It used to be a Sea Shepherd Dive affiliated shop. I did a little bit of high-end teaching to like 5-star resorts. Like became also like I did do my tech certification at the time, my first tech certification at the time. I had already tech experience when I was in the military, but none of them crossed back to the civilian world. So I rebuilt my entire like career portfolio as a scuba diver. Also, training were very, very different. Like we were not doing air at 80 meter on civilian world. That doesn't really exist. Tuba of PPO2 is not really like some kind of accepted norm. Then I worked a little bit Indo-Pacific, Europe. Where else? Europe mainly. After Kotao.
What kind of diving were you doing in Europe then?
Very fresh, very cold water.
It's a big change from the warm waters of Thailand, huh?
That was very interesting. So mainly high altitude, cold Austrian lakes that are super deep freshwater, like 170 meter depth, max depth on the lake. Temperature all year round at 20 is around 10 degrees minimum, maximum, and then 4 degrees sometimes. You will go diving. You get out of the water, your dry suit is frozen because it's minus 15 outside. Wow. So it's very, very different diving than the Gulf of Thailand. Very, very interesting diving though. You learn a lot in freshwater. Surprisingly, you learn a lot more about yourself than in like cold, warm water where you can see fish, everything is good. It's great training.
So what's let's pick up on that a little bit. What's the additional kind of learnings that you're getting from the difference between freshwater and saltwater? Because that's a topic that's never really come up on the podcast before.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so freshwater buoyancy already, just the feeling and sensation is very different. Even if you do just cave diving, let's say in a place like Mexico, you will be in some freshwater environment. Even in south of Thailand, here we do have Sipadan as an example, as a cave that is in the middle of the ocean. At around 10 meter, you are in a freshwater environment. So sensation, it's the feeling is changing. The It's gonna sound very very weird, but when you fin, you can feel the difference a little bit when you're very experienced into the two environments. Um, Another thing is very nice because then when you on your lips, it feels very different as well. So if you know the fresh water is good, like in Austria, you can literally drink the water. So you can remove your regulator, take a sip, and, and then put it back. Um, but it's also the cold environment. You have a very like the feeling on your finger, your face. It's not hard. Like it's not physically. I mean, it's gonna bring your tolerance to cold to the limit very very fast. But it's also a very like the gear is heavier. Like you can't really feel your gear anymore the way you used to because you have like dry gloves or different layer of wet gloves depending on how deep you go and how long you stay. It also makes mistakes on a dry suit very unforgiving. If you're at 5 meter and you're in deco and you have half an hour of deco and you, for whatever reason, have a pinhole in your dry suit, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very painful. Just talking about like experience here. It's also like you have also different experience in terms of decompression. Like you're in altitude, so the decompression is going to change. At the same time, you're in a cold environment. So if you're using heated vests, as an example, like you have vests where you can plug it on a battery and it can heat you on the water. You have to be very careful because sometimes those vests can promote decompression problems. The way you off gas, on gas, the way you're actually handling those things. So it's a very different training. You have to think a little bit more into gear wise, I would say, compared to even for your just standard open water recreational dive. There's a lot more going into a freshwater cold water dive than there is in I jumped from a boat in south of Thailand and everything's beautiful.
Yeah. Do you is there any noticeable difference in your buoyancy when you change in depth more significantly than saltwater, or is it relatively the same?
You sink faster and you sink easier. So you need and that's a big problem because if you do, let's say, dry suit diving in saltwater, you don't need that. You need a bit of weight, but the saltwater is going to help you to keep you afloat, basically. But if you're in dry suit diving, the buoyancy is like you sink much faster, and sometimes you need a bit more weight because you have very thick undergarment. So all of those, like it starts to become harder to just like rely on, as an example, your lung. Like if you take a deep breath in salt water, you can pretty much like stay wherever you want, right? You can take a deep breath and go up a little bit. You can sink with your breath. In fresh water, if you are weighted properly and you take a deep breath, it might be you still continue sinking. So it's just gonna change quite a lot your reflex in terms of buoyancy or in terms of trim as well. Salt water, you can like trim is easier. I feel that in freshwater, just because of the density of the water.
Yeah. Hey, that lake that they used to, or it used to flood annually or a park that used to flood annually in Austria. Did you ever get the chance to dive in there before they closed it off? Because
the Green Lake, no, I haven't.
I
have to be, I have to be honest with you. I've looked into the fine. I was like, okay, should I just go for it and pay the fine? It is extremely expensive. Like we're talking
Really?
4,000 euro of things,
Wow.
and there is police all around. So you will have to go at night. You will have to, like carry, like maybe on a rebreather and stuff. It's just, you can't.
Off mode.
In Austria we have there is an amazing NGO called Umwelttower, which is basically people cleaning lakes on their free times. I've been a member for a few years now, and We even tried to get permits there, and they were like, no, you can't get permits. Like even for environmental reasons, they were like, no way. So we were a bit sad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's a shame. That was one that was always on my it was always on my radar, and I think it was
yeah, same.
maybe 2014, 2015, something like that. Wasn't it close too long ago, was
2015.
it? Yeah.
No, 2015 is actually they did it because it was becoming like a spot where everybody was coming,
Yeah.
and even just swimming in the lake is forbidden because this green tint that the lake is taking, it's starting slowly to fade off because of all of the people activity. So they have banned any kind of like swimming in it. But it's still very beautiful to go and see. It's not that big. It's maybe 700 meter, so it's basically a pond where there's like trees and stuff. And then during summer, because of the water level rised up from the ice melting next door, and it just rises and then it's underwater. It's beautiful to see though.
Yeah. One day. I might just save up the money and do the fine as well.
And do it. If you make the trip, let me know. I'll come with you.
Beauty. All right. Let's roll over to photography for a little while because, ladies and gents, the first time that myself and Max met was actually last year when I accompanied Nicholas Remy to Jordan to take part in the International Underwater Photography Competition. And Max, bless him, as we're walking down to what was that? The canyon we were walking down towards the.
Was it Petra?
That was it. Yes, Petra. Walking down Petra, and I noticed his T-shirt, and it's a Bottomline's T-shirt, which I recognised from a mate of mine. There you go. Yeah. So I said hello and said, "Who the hell are you?" Because I know Bottomline's project, and he's been doing a lot of good stuff. So that kind of feeds into the photography, and we'll talk about Bottomlines in a bit as well. But photography side of things, when did the camera action underwater start for you? How did it come about?
So I started with camera like when I was young, at a young age. My grandpa and my grandma used to own a cinema, so I was kind of like in the camera, and I was in the camera kind of world at this time. And we were doing some film photography, and then like during the military, I bought my first reflex, my own one, like a Nikon D90 something like this, and I started to pick up into more and more photography. Did a bit of like wedding, did event photography, portraits, and then I became an instructor. So I still had my camera, and I could see all of those photographers being there. I was like, oh, that sounds like very cool. So I picked up a very old camera, like a compact. Like I think I still have pictures of it. Like that thing was massive, and I started to do my first photos there. During like a few years later, I bought a better setup. Started to do more and more photos and videos, and getting more and more interested into it. So when I was doing mainly like cold water in Austria, so in the 2017, 2018, like I had a proper setup already. And it's very like just before / during COVID that it's just started. That's very, very, very started. I did an amazing course. I wanted to do more for professional photography. So I followed a good friend of mine, Lee Jellyman, that was at Ritual Dive in Malta at that time. That is now at Pro Video in Kotao, and I did a pro course with him. I wanted to know a little bit more into like what he was doing as a photographer and as a videographer as well to get started. And I really was a tech diver, so I was like, I really want to do all of those pictures. So I worked pretty much every single day since 2019, I would say, to go and do more and more photography, to try to live from photography as well, which is not always easy. And then back it's been a few years now. I left every single rest of jobs that was doing that, and I'm slowly living off photography, video, cinema courses, more eye handling, trying to follow the path of great wreck photographer and cave photographers that there is, and yeah, basically going to more and more.
Who you aspiring to be? You want to do any name dropping? Who do you get
Sure.
all starstruck over?
Oh my god. Yeah, like I think for me the best, okay, it's not the best. Let's put it in a more cover way. The one that I've inspired my work a lot more and I found extremely inspiring is Alex Dawson.
Yeah.
I think Alex has, like, his work is fantastic. His video and his photo work is fantastic. He has the lighting that is brilliant. The places he goes is brilliant, and I've actually met him during this competition where we met each other, and he's also a very, very nice person, which I think is also adds even more to the whole thing. And yeah, then there is of course Martin Braun, brilliant photographer, Fan Ping, Natalie Gibb. I mean, there is so many like brilliant underwater cave and explorers photography. Like that was great photography. It's very hard to point one, but if I had to choose one, I would say Alex. Alex is definitely like the highest on the list.
I do recall your reaction when you got your honourable mention at Jordan, and it was very well deserved, young man. It was a fabulous photo.
Thank you. But it was it's this shot is I think one of the best shots that I've taken in years.
Yeah.
And I mean, not looking forward back to it. I will do a few things differently. From, I think you're talking about the photo with the wreck that is almost falling on the diver, right?
Yep.
I start to like, I'm actually doing a lot more of those kind of shots, which are basically bending the physics, if I can say like this, but creating like unsettling environment or unsettling composition where things could happen. Well, in reality, we know that the ship is been there for a few years. It's not gonna fall down on anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to do a lot more, like try to implement this kind of like mind tricks to the photos.
How do you mean? So like kind of giving the perception that a diver's in danger of a wreck falling on him or something like that?
Right, example. Or that it looks much deeper than it is, or that you will take a picture and you will lose all perception of up down, as an example. You don't really know, like you being drawn in the picture, you see the diver is here, he's in an environment, but you're not sure if up is actually up or down is down or where it is, and it tricks your mind into this kind of loop, which like, I love this picture, but I don't understand what's happening. I want to look in it more to actually try to figure it out. Yeah. And if you go back to the picture of the wreck, actually the diver is tilted. The diver, there was a bit of current that day, so we had to protect the diver behind the wreck to make sure the bubbles would not go too out of shape, because if not, it's just a very dead giveaway. And then there is not so much floor, because if you will see so much of the floor, you will actually see that the wreck is actually at an angle. So I use a lot of those kind of angles called Dutch angle. And if you have the Dutch angle like this, so if the wreck is in this position, if normally the wreck is there, but if you tilt it, then it makes it like it's gonna fall. Yeah. That's just very tricky, and I think it creates a very different perspective that we don't often see from places that we have been.
I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Alex did the same thing in the Tristar.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I said Alex did the same thing in the Tristar. So there is this picture of a diver, and you can see all of the seats are upside down. And it's actually the diver was upside down, and he took the shot, and then he reversed it. But you don't see this. You just see the divers there, and then the wreck being like an actual wreck, like if the plane was upside down. So I really like those kind of shots. It makes it for like a very more interesting kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, you're in a quite a unique situation at the moment, aren't you, with Mikko and the Bottomline team, and being able to get into the unexplored caves of Thailand. I'm kind of expecting no pressure, mate. But seeing as what you've just said and going into scary as hell caves, I'm expecting tip top stuff from you now.
Okay. So yeah, we like Bottomline is kind of a very small group of passionate people that love exploring, love bringing scientific knowledge as well from environment that are barely explored, or like helping communities. An example would be like Aqaba project, which is a mine up North Thailand that is in the Kanchanaburi area. It's a set of mine. Most of the water filtering through these mines are actually going through to the valley. So we wanted to see they were very heavy metal mines. So we wanted to take samples. You use not only like go there for like cool reason and just do very cool things, but also have those have also those details and those data, bringing them back to people that matter. So the communities that are around, see if the water that they are drinking, where does it come from? Do we have the same level of pollution from place A to place B, or is there something that we can look like that has been that is going to collapse at one point and might put people at risk? We had massive collapse during the exploration already, so very interesting dives. But it's also bringing part of history back to Thailand. We are little secrets. We are on the way to an expedition very soon to film some to film some documentaries for the Thai TV and Korean TV about mining and their entire history that they had about mining in their own country. And it's just great because we can bring people and do imagery to even more people alongside this. It's also doing fantastic diving that is like overhead environments in Southeast Asia wasn't really like a big thing. And then this year we have had more mine divers in Thailand. We've been the first place where we certified mine diver, and it's starting to get more and more popular. Cave diving was already popular with like the cave rescue that had happened with Mikko and the guys, so that this had really brought like cave diving right in Asia, Southeast Asia, even Eastern Asia. But mine diving is a very brand new thing, and it blends the wrecks, the cave, and it's also into places that is easier. Like the access is a bit easier than cave.
Yeah.
So like this is also what Bottomline project does, is also providing training ground, safe area for people that want to join such expedition.
Yeah.
And mapping photogrammetry, so using photos. So that's also one of the things I do a lot, which is using art, photography, to create 3D models and 3D maps to help divers to plan their dive, to also bring people that cannot dive or doesn't really want to risk it to places that are inaccessible to them. Big example would be like Cedar Cave. We did around 30% of the 3D mapping of this area, and those data are being used by University of Malaysia for kids to be taught what the cave look like, and geology department is using the data to look into it. So it's a very different part of photography, but it's also what Bottomline project is. So yeah, and it's also a lot of fun exploring with friends.
Yeah, I just needed to add that bit on the end there that you're, extremely fortunate to be going and diving and exploring and mapping and all the stuff that, grown up kids like us like to do. And have you had any initially, did you have any kind of pushback with the Thai authorities allowing access to the mines to go and do everything? Or were they a little bit more lenient given Mikko's involvement with the rescue?
Yeah, so we had at the beginning a very, like, it's not really even a pushback. It was like they don't understand. It's like, why do you want to go there?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So if people start this way, it's like, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to access those environments? It's not safe. So it was. I mean, it's always very hard for people, because if there is something happening there, then who is to blame? So it was very, very hard at the beginning, but luckily most of these environments are private. So by working with the landowner, working with the companies, we're like, hey, this is what we want to do. We have this area that we would love to explore. This is what we have done, and this is with our track record. Because we don't disturb anything, we don't destroy anything. We're just there to map it and to do cool photos and cool videos, and then share it with people, and then bringing more people there. And we adhere to a very strict guideline. It's been much easier, but it's a lot of work behind. It's not just let's go and take a car and then find a hole somewhere and then go diving. Just even finding a suitable mine is a lot of background research on looking into geological maps from Thailand onto, okay, where is the mineral deposit there, crossing those information with more and more details on history, photos, archives. So there's a lot of research before that, and then contacting the landowner and seeing if they are okay with us taking a look. If they are not, then we should not push, of course, because then it makes everything worse.
Yeah.
And the more we do those things, the bigger it is. We just started to have a partnership with the Thai national parks. So before that, national parks they are forbidden to dive, like for everyone. But we have a special permit where we can, as part of park rangers. So we're the first people to be officially being put as park ranger, in order to be able to do those surveys and then access the zone. So a big thing would be Satun province. We found what we believe is the biggest flooded cave in the entire Asian continent.
The biggest what cave? Sorry.
Kilometers flooded cave in the entire
Oh,
continent, which is, we're talking in kilometers underground. And it goes between two countries, between Malaysia and Thailand, which is a little bit tricky. Yeah.
Yeah.
The part of the expedition found bones, 8,000 years old human bones there. Very interesting. So now it's closed because there's archaeological findings and everything. But this was in a national park that was at the beginning very, very close. And so by doing more of these projects, we get more into get more easy. Let's say it like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do get a little bit of like crazy idea, and Thai are like really, like, we're gonna make you sign something that if you die, it's on you and not on us. Referring to when they put the wrecks in Koh Tao, Mikko and I decided that it would be a great idea to film the wrecks falling down from underwater. So we were at the placement site, underwater diving, no idea where exactly the wreck is gonna fall, because there was so much turbidity of water. It was crazy. Turns out this is a very bad idea. Don't do it. But it made for very great images, but it was a bad idea. Sometimes they are a bit like, are you that crazy? Like, really, you really want to do that? You're like, yeah, don't worry. If we think it's safe, it's like, oh, wear helmets. I'm like, there's a 400-ton ship falling on you. You think my helmet is going to cover it?
I did see the photos of you guys getting in with a helmet on. I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah, it's not going to work. No, and then, of course, when it falls down, it's like there's shrapnel everywhere and things explode. And you're like, stupid idea. Don't do it.
Yeah. Was it quite an intense noise as well with that thing coming down?
Yeah, no, the noise was so intense that it stopped my camera.
Really?
Yeah, and I have a video. So the ship was going somewhere here. I'm just behind Mikko, and you can see a black shadow falling down and Mikko being blasted by the ship and my camera stopping. I'll send it to you if you want. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So so that's why when we were thinking, like, how close were we? It's like too close. And yeah, the blast was very, very bad.
Yeah. And was that on the first one or the second one? Did you learn from the first one
That
or
was the
get too
first
close
one.
again? Yeah.
They didn't want us to go back to the second one, so we only could do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second one was a little bit more tricky to place, so we did it only on the first one, and it was a really like pretty good experience.
Yeah. So what's the go at the moment then? Is the mines taking priority on everyday life, or are you having to split it up and do some real work?
Real work. Well, I mean, the you like let's separate two things in there because mines are
Yeah.
also real work for me. Like
Yeah.
I follow from time to time Cole from Paul Parasu. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Poor.
He's
Yeah.
also a very Paul. So
Yeah.
I follow a lot of his courses when the students want to get cool shots during his courses. So of course in a very complex, like it's a very different setup. So I also go to the mine to do like some shootings. But those are the mines that we have already been exploring for a while. We know them there, and this is, I would say that's one of the priority is all of the
Yeah.
photo work, customer side, commercial side, and this is kind of the priority. And then we have all of the expedition side when we have let's find new places. So this has to be like I mean I'd love to do that every day, but
Yeah.
it's just funding is a very big problem. And also we do have lives around it, so we can't do that like just full time.
Yeah. Yeah. And are you actively teaching on Tau as well, or is that
Only photography.
not so much now? Just
So
photography, yeah.
I don't teach. Yeah, I don't teach scuba diving.
No.
What I'm a full. I mean, I'm an instructor. I could do it. If I then accept to teach scuba diving, I won't have the time to do photography
Yeah.
and or to do commercial or to develop a company. So for me, I love teaching diving. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love it, but I needed to choose something. So I'm actively teaching photography, technical photography, and soon like a new program. It's called Expedition Photographer, which is basically like doing what I do on land and underwater to be able to bring images as part of a media team for like grants and expeditions.
Okay.
When you get grants from a company, you want to they always want images. They want to see what's happening. The finding is very important. The images and all of the media that comes out of it is a very big thing. So I'm starting a new program that is going to be actually marketed and geared toward those people that wants to be able to do both sides.
So
Also with
you're
all of the logistics.
okay. So you're effectively going to are you going to be planning the expeditions for them as well, or are you going to be
Yeah.
the person that they can employ to come along and get all of the footage for them?
So both of it.
Okay.
The idea is to, of course, like for me as a person to be able to go and to do this expedition, but also to train people to be able to do this. It's a very specific kind of photography. It's also a very high risk kind of photography. So, like taking photos when you are rappelling down and there is somebody else down next to you and you want to be able to showcase those images, those very cool shots, when you have like an explorer going down with his entire rebreather on a rope in the middle of nowhere. The skill set that you need to do is not only photography, it's physical ability, it's all of the skills that goes around it. So it's a very kind of new thing. Most people that do it are like have been long photographer that have experience in many domains, but there is not really any kind of teaching going into that, or at least just bringing you like a head start. So that was basically the idea behind it.
And this is something that you're going to do from Koh Tao or wherever the job takes you?
Pretty much wherever.
Okay.
But we're gonna start with Koh Tao. So
Yeah.
Koh Tao is a really nice training place because you can
Yeah.
do scuba diving, of course. You can do climbing. You can do. We have a few caves here and there that we found that are not on the map, so nobody's going there. We also have like access to a lot of facility, all of the logistics here. So if I need to go and fill up some trimix, I can go and fill up some trimix and then go somewhere. It's much easier. But definitely looking into expanding this, doing light liveaboards as well, geared towards wreck photographer and having workshop during those liveaboards. So lots and lots and lots is.
Well, if you need a hand, mate, my website's now gone live with Nomadic Scuba, and it's there for supporting people like yourself that want to start their own businesses, leading expeditions, etc. More than happy to put you on there.
I'm actually, you're definitely the one I'm gonna do these things with. So there's nobody else I want to do things like this with. So it's pretty much like a given.
Yeah, good on you. Good on you. We can sort that out and we'll get you on there as a ambassador and start looking at the expeditions, all that kind of thing. Hey, in fact, just on a side note on that, actually, there's another thing that I was thinking about for a long time, and I'm going to be launching it probably next week or week after. And in fact, you could be number one. Actually, you can be the first person. Another thing that always kind of stuck in my mind, especially from being having worked in the industry and getting low paid salary, and by the end of the month you've only got a couple of pennies to rub together, so money's always difficult. So I'm putting into place an affiliation scheme as well, so that you as an individual will have your own code, and it goes hand in hand with continuity of customer care. So an example is you teaching a course, a video course, whatever. You build a rapport with your customers, and they always ask where to go diving next. Where's the best place to go? What's your recommendation? Well, that's part and parcel of your job. And if you've got an affiliation code that goes to Nomadic Scuba, they can come, and if they make a booking, you get a kickback as well. You get a bit of commission. And it's just my little idea of putting a few pennies back into the pockets of dive pros. And
it's a good idea.
It maintains that link as well with the dive pro and their guests. So it can happen time and time and time again, and then you drag them onto your expeditions and in full circle customer care.
Exactly. It's actually that's a big thing. It really depends how you are doing this as a business. I know that for me, like at the beginning, I was doing photography, and it's really hard to just being a photographer, because photography is, you need to find. You're depending of what the structure is going to give you, like as a dive center or a company or anything. So building a company from scratch and actually going into that market, if you will hear how many times I've been told, you cannot take photography, it doesn't work, you're never going to make money with it, it's very, very hard and stuff. And actually, I had to build it up from scratch, because the amount of people that are doing it outside of a structure there is only so little. Alex is one doing it. You will have Fanping, you will have a very, very small amount of people doing it that way, and it's very, very hard to arrive to this level. So I think those affiliate links and stuff is a very, very cool way to actually kick back and then actually have customer care and returning customers. And because this is actually most of the people that are coming here, and then I would maybe do an off-camera lighting workshop, is going to be returning customers that I've been doing photography with, or was during a course. Those people were like, hey, let's do this, let's do that. Those are a very big customer base. And it should. Yeah. This is people you build trust and relationship with. So.
Yeah. Oh, good on you. So, what's the? Can you say what the company's going to be called, or is it still too early doors?
It's still a bit early days. For now, it has the company exists, and for now it has a very bad name, which is Maxime Underwater Productions. But thinking into changing names and doing something a little bit more interesting. Yeah. But yeah, and it's going to go with, of course, Kota Divers is going to be involved there, at least on Kota, for all of the support, all of the I'll say the logistics behind, because they have a boat. I don't want to buy a boat, as an example. It makes no sense. Yeah. So boats, tanks, classrooms, it's very good there. In the future, like also like expanding through right now, probably Singapore and Hong Kong. We have like a lot of relationship with TDI people in those two regions. So, and Malaysia a little bit. So trying to go and also go more into the Asian Chinese market, which seems to be like absolutely loving that kind of photography, and teaching this market as well. So that's
Hey, are you just
the plan.
thinking on that one? Are you guys coming over? I know you did your first major speaking spot at ADEX. Was it last year? This year?
It was this year.
This year. Are you coming over for ADEX next year in Sydney?
I am not sure. It's gonna depend of things, and I think we've been invited again to speak to ADEX this year. So ADEX Singapore is for sure. ADEX Sydney, I'm not 100% sure. I think that the tech or OzTech is also gonna be part of ADEX now.
Correct.
I think I've seen something like this.
Yeah.
So why not? After the tech community, that'd be great.
Yeah.
The tech community in Australia is quite big. I mean, there is between Nicola and many other people. I'm not sure do we have anything to contribute there, because Australia is not really our base. But there's so much cool thing happening.
The thing is with Australia, I mean, there's loads of places to dive here, and there's loads of caves and caverns and all that kind of stuff as well. However, there's also a lot of people that have got a shitload of money that want to go overseas to do exploration as well.
Yeah.
And you guys have pounded into, the mines of Thailand. I mean, what wouldn't excite a cave diver more than going somewhere that not many people have gone before?
I
I'm trying to sell a show to you,
stuff
but
happening soon.
Exactly.
No, we're actually we have very cool, like, exciting stuff to do. Like this new year, I will be going to a very new place. I won't share too much, but it's just as a teaser. So there's a cave that's been found, and it's literally in the middle of a city. So you can fly to the city, park your car, walk down the stairs, and then there's a cave there, and you can go starting your dive from there. So it's between two buildings. So they didn't know it was there. They're like, oh yeah, there's a cave here, but we go for picking water. Like, okay, can we go and take a look? And it's actually brilliant. So, like, weird thing is, like, part of the cave you have the foundation of the building, so it makes it a very, very weird environment, because you have like building's foundation, and then you are literally in a decorated cave. So, like, very, very very interesting place.
And you're doing that in
and a few
the
more
new year?
This new year.
So we'll get photos a short while after.
Definitely. Definitely. That's going to be very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, listen, I mean, people have obviously made the link now between you guys and Mikko and Koto Divers. I'm not sure if I've ever asked you before, but how did you end up, because you're a Frenchman. I expected you, when you go back to Koto, to go to another French shop, because most people stick with their own language. But you went to Koto Divers, and just wondering how that link came into place.
Okay, so if you want to go back to this link, you're going to have to go back a little bit more than that. So I left France in 2016, and my English was absolutely terrible at the time. So I actually went to a French school, and this is where I get my dive master and instructor, in a French school.
Yeah.
And I just literally woke up one morning, and I'm like, you left France for a reason. You were tired of French. You were tired of, like, tired of France as a country, and you wanted to see a different part of the world, right? So you traveled 10,000 kilometers away, all of it to go back to the exact same culture and the exact same language. Like, what are you doing? So it was just like morning. So I'm like, okay, like I need to do some changes. I need to start speaking English, learning English, teaching diving in English. So I went from Frenchman speaking proper French and no English to like full on English.
Yeah.
And it just opened me doors to such a different world in terms of culture and also like work, because even those places like Koto Divers or any of the dive shop in Koto will have French people coming. So if they want to have French native, I could speak French native with them. If not, I just speak English, and most of the time they're like, "Oh, you're French." I can't hear it because I've been speaking. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can still hear it, but most French won't guess that I'm French.
Well,
And I'm
to
very
be
happy
honest,
with this.
I thought you were more towards Belgium and Holland kind of region when we first met. I didn't put you down as a
I'm
full-on
French.
Frenchie.
I'm a full-on Frenchie, like baguette and croissant. But yeah, and I mean, when I was here in Koh Tao, I used to do a lot of side mount diving. So 2016, 2017, and it was really the beginning of side mount diving. So there wasn't really so many people, and I used to rent the kit at Koh Tao Divers that they had. They had a nice X-Deep kit, and that's how I started to go into a bit more things with them. I was doing a little bit of technical dive, which is like 60 on air, like just chill deco, removing nets from some of your wreck there, and that's how actually I met the crew at the time. And it's really during COVID as well that I really started to do more things with Mikko.
Yeah.
We were participating to a photo competition called Under Buffer Photographer, which was a fourth element competition. They wanted to do underwater photography, but in a bathtub. And I was stuck at
Yes.
home. Do you remember that? Yeah, I was
Yes.
stuck at
Yeah.
home, and I started to do off-camera lighting in my bathtub with Lego. And Miko was like messaged me like, "Hey, how do you do that?" And we started to have like Zoom calls, and here it goes, And then doing more things. When I came to Kotao, when I came to Kotao like back in 2022, I think 2022, yeah, 2022. I we met at ADEX as well. So at ADEX, like, oh, it's so cool. Let's do some stuff together. And it all went downhill from that. Basically, we started to do stuff together and then do more stuff together. And then he didn't really know what to do with Bottomline project at the time. So I was like, oh, should I close it? I'm like, no, don't close it. Just give me a minute. Let's figure that out. It's too good to have a foundation and then not using it. So let's see what we can do with it. So he was very trustful with me. Like he basically gave me say, okay, do whatever you want. Like just go for it. Like if this is what you want to do. So it took me quite a few years now to work on this, and now we're looking into getting proper fundings. So it was always like self-funded. So we would basically teach diving or do photography, and then fund this expedition ourselves. Like no government, no Thai government would pay money. It was only us. And now we're looking into like having actual fundings from bigger company to actually help us doing more things, greater things, going to like deeper places, which we need. We had support from Dive Brand that are very cool, and then they continue supported us. So it's nice to to have also those kind of supports as well. So yeah,
Which brands are those?
Mainly we're gonna have XDIP. XDIP's exploration supports program. We have Seal Dry Suit, which is also part of XDIP, but it is slowly coming in. Big Blue Lights. We've quite a few. I personally have Dan. I have Garmin Malaysia. That's been a very, very big help as well. I have F-Stop as well as backpack. That are very beautiful backpack that I've been using for years to carry all the gear I need, or medical gear sometimes as well, because I do a bit of medical stuff. And doing many things.
You're the medic as well as the...
Yes, I'm also one of the medic as well.
That must put the luggage over the top, all the camera equipment, and then
You
medic
have no
on
idea.
top.
You have no idea, yeah. And but it's very useful. No, I think we need to get more medic, because last time I was the only one injured. So like it was a very interesting time. When your medic is the one that has like all of the stitches and stuff. But we have a lot of gear that we need. And we're trying to look into like every single, like even cave line. Like we're looking into like maybe doing some stuff with a company. It's not there yet, so I won't speak much about it. But there's a company that we were like, hey, like you have cool lines. You use it for many, many things. Do you have a line for this? Would you be interested to see that we can help you like do some commercial and cool stuff, and also test your product? Because the idea is so we can test your product into like very harsh environments, tell you where it breaks. Because with Mikko, it's always going to break. and then like give you like a full experience, like a report over, okay, this was the condition we were in. This has been like where we found problem or not, and this is where we're going to continue testing the product over a long term. That was originally the ESP program. The XD program was actually designed like this, more than just funding. It was just like, okay, we're going to give you some gear, and just let us know like where does it break. Because if it breaks for you, or if it doesn't break for you, then we know it's safe for like open water diving with side mount and recreational stuff. And I think it's a brilliant idea because it gives us product, it gives us stuff that we need to. We also go through it much faster than recreational people or even tech divers. And at the same time, it gives the industry like safer gear and better products. So it was a pretty cool thing.
I do like. I mean, I've never used XD, but the whole system, it just looks so good, and I've never heard a bad thing about it. And it looks
brilliant.
Cool as hell on a photo as well.
Yeah, definitely. No, like we do. It looks cool, but I mean, like you just let's talk about XD for a second. Like, like they really listen to people about doing this. Like, you have some brands that are coming on the market right now, or like small brands or things that are like, oh, we expedition tested. Like, okay, where? Like, where have you been testing those things? Like, it looks cool, but at the same time, it has been like battle tested. Like I have pictures of like, even if you look at Mikko's like side mount, this is like, it's full of holes in it.
Yeah.
And if you look into me, I mean, I go through, and I'm not babying the gear, and it's brilliant to see how harsh you can actually put this thing through, and it just stays. Like it keeps having the function. Like, yeah, of course it's gonna look damaged because you've been through hell with it, but at the same time, it keeps the primary function. It's keeping you safe there, and you get a very good product at the end. So I think this is brilliant. Like, I think many companies should do things like this.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not everybody is willing to do like this.
And you're right. It is a shame because, as I say, sitting here as a neutral point of view and just watching, people like yourselves and Mikko, and then other cave miners or cenote divers over in Mexico, exploratory divers that are just knocking the shit out of their equipment. Why wouldn't you put it on their back? Why wouldn't you get the feedback to make the product better?
Exactly.
You can wait for 10 years to get that kind of information when you can get it in a year from guys like yourselves that are doing all this work. So I think XD, I applaud them, and I don't have anything to do with them. I think they do a fabulous job.
Yeah, it's also very cheap for them because they just have to give you a product, and then you can give them R&D for free. It's much brilliant to do such R&D like this, because it just brings you directly the information that you need to know about the product.
What's next on the menu then, mate?
For today, or for this month, or for next year?
All of it.
All of it. For today, I have a bit more editing to do. I'm on the office today, so like I'm a bit more work to do. We have this cool project filming that we're gonna go this weekend. A few courses starting, then maybe like a few days of holidays, which is really good to get some holidays from time to time. But we're gonna start with this cave exploration during New Year. That is gonna be interesting. Then a bit more documentary projects. I think under NDA, so cannot really speak about this either. And then we're already in February, So February we have new caves in Laos with Mikko. We're gonna look into a new mine as well. We've been trying to reach out. Unfortunately, we're stuck 8 kilometers away from it because it's very in the middle of the jungle. So we need to go and find pathways. So we're gonna look into it. So we look into with drones if there are any pathway we can find. We wanted to go for it last September, but it was a little bit it was very hard after the crash we had. We had to
Yeah.
sit back a little bit and just like reflect on what happened and how we will change procedure, because when you fail and when something like people get hurt, you would definitely want to learn from it and
Yeah.
say, okay, we're gonna have to do things differently this time. So we're definitely gonna do things differently.
Yeah.
And like after that, we're gonna be in March, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Like it's
So
already a few months.
do you have any idea of? I mean, when we talk about the mines in Thailand, you know, can you try and give us an idea on how much there is to explore and how much you've done so far?
It's I would say unlimited potential. It's
Really?
that big. Yeah, mining culture in Thailand was very very big. Before being one of the first rice exporter, they were first mining like a lot of coal, a lot of lead, and it was a bit the Wild West, especially like at the beginning of 1900. Some of the places like they used to get like permits for extracting certain resources, but if I'm talking about like Baoyai, which is a set of multiple mines in Kanchanaburi, I think the amount of current, I think it's 40 kilometers of tunnels.
Oh, Jesus.
Just tunnels, yeah. Yeah, it's insane. And I think the max depth is at 250 meter. And so this project, as an example, there is a very cool thing. So apparently, so we talked with the engineers and like very very old people that were this mine was still exploited until 1930, 1940. So we went and talked to the engineers that actually built it, and while there is no map left, so this map has been destroyed, unfortunately. There was a massive fire, and this is also one of the reasons why the mine has been abandoned. There is a place called the Crystal Cave, the Crystal Chamber they call it, and it's very hard for us to know where it is, but it's somewhere we think around 90 to 150 meter.
Okay.
And one of our objectives is to basically find this place. But that gives you an example of like this is one set of area. We found so far 7 other sites that are like suitable for diving.
Yeah.
And like the last one we were up north, where we got the last incident was like it's brilliant. We arrived there. It's in a very beautiful area. It's in a very different kind of area as well. So like the mining, the structure, the way they have been built is very very different. We also found like some mine in Malaysia. So there is a town that is a mining town, which is very very interesting. There's this mining town, and they used to be like mining like as a business, but now they're using mining as a way to attract tourists. And
Okay.
there is this resort that has its own private mine, and the entire village uses the water from that mine for the shower, for washing dishes. Like it's very crazy, and it was an illegal mine, so it has been digged like very very weird. So you have to also to be very careful because
Yeah.
mining is extremely dangerous. Like the mine diving is probably I think the biggest, most dangerous sport you can do in any kind of scuba,
Yeah.
because they're very unstable. But you end up, I mean, we ended up in a chamber with like a lot of like those big wooden poles that are literally like trying to hold the walls, and they're still floating around, and like it's a very weird and very, very interesting place. Uh, but yeah, it's
So the
pretty much
walls aren't even been
unlimited.
held up. It's just the water that's holding the walls up then.
Yes, so you have to be very careful. So like that's where like going with rebreathers makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you have the least, even with rebreathers, sometimes stuff collapse just because when you fit you kick, then stuff start to break down.
Yeah.
So like you have to be a bit careful on this area.
And
It's not.
do you have to you have to be mindful and test the water as well for any kind of contaminants from when
Yeah.
they were
So
mining?
okay. Yeah. So that's we before we even jump somewhere, we have some test kits. So we use the first one we will do just to give a quick rapid check will be the same thing as your pool. When you have a pool and you want to see if the water is good, so it gives you like kind of like primary contaminants.
Yeah,
We
like the
won't drink
pH
it.
level kind of thing.
Yeah, it's basically like it's a bandlet. It's very, very, very long, and you just
Yeah,
dunk it for a second, and then you look into like the colors.
yeah,
So we will look into like if there is lead, as an example. You don't dive in lead. Like
yeah. No.
that's a bad idea. We didn't have yet the case form, but just got some JJ counter, for radioactive water, because
Oh
we
shit!
might
Yeah,
go and do some uranium mine soon, which, which is if the water is contaminated, you really don't want to go and because if you come back and you look like a glow stick, it makes no sense. So yeah, we've been looking into maybe doing some very interesting thing, especially up north in Europe, that were like Soviet era and stuff like this, like very, very interesting kind of area again.
yeah,
But this is gonna have to wait a little bit, I think, with the current situation in those countries.
yeah,
But there is a lot happening as well. So we need to check water quality. We most of the time use wet dry suits when they work,
yeah,
but even just the exposure on your face to lead for hours is like it's terrible for you. So
yeah,
we have to look into it. And what we do is we also collect for the first time we go, we collect some samples. So we will basically go like surface sample, like we can do it there, and then we will take some containers and we will basically sample water for like 40 meter, 100, one this area, and we will look into it. We will look also into the different like when drained, water level certainly goes up, so it brings a lot more inside of the mine. So you want to make sure that like what's being brought on bring is still safe to dive.
yeah,
We of course use like hoods and gloves, and then rinse ourselves with fresh water, like pretty much immediately after the dive.
yeah,
So you have to be a bit careful as well on those things. Like contaminants
yeah,
are there is a lot in this water.
yeah, yeah. And with regards to, once you've mapped a cave a mine, and determined that it's good enough for using as a teaching facility, are there only particular instructors that are allowed to or get signed off
Yeah.
by the local government to do it?
So it's going to depend of where it is. If we can take the example of Power which is what the biggest teaching ground is. You have only a handful of instructors that are allowed to go to the gate. So there's a gate
Okay.
with guards there. So in order to go there, if you wanted to teach it illegally, you would have to go through quite a few kilometers of jungle on your own with scuba tank and let your car outside. So there's a big gate. There's guards there, so they know who is allowed. They know who is not allowed to go there. So very, very easy to go. Then like local government is very, very careful. So if you will go like Khao used to be a very great place for cave diving, and it's forbidden now because there has been incidents
Yeah.
where life were lost. So in order to go, like we have been doing some diving in Khao mainly for rescue reasons, but you need to have like very high level of permission to go there and being signed off by quite a few people. So yeah, like important, and it's needed because if not, people are gonna start to do stupid things, and
Yeah.
and if somebody gets hurt there, then this is the end of those projects. So we need
Yeah.
to be very careful. That doesn't mean that nobody can get hurt. I mean, you're still scuba diving, so you can have like let's say decompression problem. We have a hospital not far from there. We have procedure in place. We make sure that everything is as safe as it can be. The teaching area are clearly defined. In case there is any collapse at certain zones, there is exit into many different ones. So it's not just like oh, let's go to a hole and then go and teach there. It's okay in case something happened. What do I do? We have people passing through from the government just to check out on us. When we're here, take the moped, they can arrive and they just check, oh, is everybody here still? And then they know if it's like 10 p.m. and people are still there, something's wrong. So we, there is a lot of more procedure that goes in behind, and that's also why there's also only certain instructor that can go and teach there, because you need to be accredited there to go, and etc.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. And I'm assuming it's kind of just a handful of people at the moment that have got the authority to go and do it.
Yeah, it's around 7 or 8 people, I think, that can go there and teach. It's gonna be mainly like Mikko Paasi. Some of the people from from Thailand as well have the possibility to go there, and then a few more foreigner from Phuket and Krabi that have been like vetted through to go that. And we try to. I mean, there's pretty much like it's very interesting because there's always somebody there at the moment. It's like we have a base camp that is next to it. We pretty much have a compressor standing there. We have 20 tanks that are always there. We have oxygen, helium, like big J's of helium that are just there and soft lime, like because there's always somebody that is training around or doing some fun diving or anything. And the nice thing with all of this is also bring local community money and people and commerce, because they're like, oh, we have a brand new kind of tourism that wasn't there before. And these people are like, oh, we try to always, like, Paul as an example is always going to many of the restaurants around for dinner, try to involve the community as well. So it brings as well there a bit of fundings. We also give a little bit of money to the park to make sure that as a thank you to also allow us to go there. It brings it's also helping everyone to commercially. So from a place that wasn't used, they used to do tours like with pickup around the mine. Now they have actually much more income that comes from also scuba divers just coming and doing their courses or exploration, which I think is also one of the nice thing around.
It's got to be nice to watch the growth of it, to be honest.
Yeah, they have a T-shirt now with pictures that we took in the mine with like so they wear it as part of the background, which is like,
oh, brilliant.
Like there's divers there. So that's pretty cool. They made it themselves. Like they took a picture and they just stick it on a T-shirt, and it's like very, very interesting. Yeah. So you're like, okay, that's how important that you became as a part of this. While 2 years ago we were just barely scratching it was very hard because they were more like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, I don't understand. And now it's like, hey, Max, how are you? I'm like, oh, doing diving today. Are you doing, which mine are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm going to M3. I'm like, oh, okay, have fun. Come by and see you later. Just very different feeling.
Fabulous. And that's the Thai community, though, isn't it? It's
yes, it's all Thai community.
Yeah,
definitely, very, very nice.
Hey, if you've got any kind of little maps or something like that, you could flick on over to me image-wise and chuck it into the show notes.
I think we have a stick map that we just finished that Paul just posted online. I can give you that, and I can send you some photos and stuff. But it's see, that's one thing we do with the courses is every mine course, the full mine, especially the rebreeders, they do a bit of surveying, and we survey specific zone, and like this we add this map to the Bottomline project map. So like this, you're not only just getting training, you also give it back to us. We don't take your money, but we take just a little bit of your time. It's going to give you good training, you know how to do it, and then we basically get better map that's going to be used by people.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
We have mapped 3% of it so far, but the map is but it's a centimeter accurate map from the length to the depth.
Wow.
And it's very, 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 very accurate.
Awesome sauce. All right, mate. Well, I shall let you get back to doing some office duties. And,
Thank you very much.
Say hello to everyone for me, and
definitely
we'll see you again hopefully soon. Thank you very much for listening, folks. Ciao for now.